everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fashion Talk Tuesday. I am your co-host Maisha.
And I'm Monica.
And this week we are talking about fashion events. Are you showing up the right way?
When we talk about fashion events, we have attended fashion events, we get invited to fashion events, and that's a big part of our platform, right. Because we have to be connected in the community. But a lot of the time when people think about going to a fashion event, and I think we see it transitioning and happening in real time, people are like, oh, I got invited to this just to sit there and take photos.
Right.
And just to say you were in the room.
Exactly.
This episode is going to help us like debunk all of that. What are you showing up for? What are you gaining from going to these events? And just from a perspective of how do I show up? Mm-hmm. What are you bringing to the table when it comes to these type of events? How are you leaving? How are you influencing and using what you already have in your gifts and talents to make it a better experience?
We're not just showing up. We're not just attending. We're introducing ourselves. We're starting conversations. We're building relationships. And I can honestly say I was that girl who was in the corner. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I just wanted to show up with my cute outfit and hopefully somebody will come and talk to me, because believe it or not, I've been coming out of my shell, but I am really a shy person. So when I used to go to events, I would not talk to anybody. I would wear a good outfit to where that would kind of spark a conversation between me and somebody else. I was that girl.
When we think about events, we think about the value of it all, like investing in the ticket, investing in the look, investing in walking in the room, making sure that you have your makeup done, your hair done. But the type of value that you're trying to gain from the show actually happens before the show. Who invited you from the event? Like when it's a fashion event, with even if it's a networking fashion event, who invited you to the show? Did they see enough in your your brand and your value to say, hey, I want this person in the room? And even before the show, that's when the conversation starts. Absolutely. We've had plenty of times where we've connected with someone and they're having a show and we want to attend. But we want to make sure first, what should we wear? Of course, you're going to honor the designer. You're going to honor the brand by wearing a piece or something from their, brand. But what makes the difference to us is being in the room before the show. How do they say our names? How do we say their names? How do we speak highly of them? Mm-hmm. Even during the conversations, what does it look like to have the conversations in those rooms? Are you just walking in and leaving and saying bye? Or are you actually like being present and not just taking photos, but actually having the conversations and then taking those conversations from the event and then after that following up?
Yeah, it's so funny because I was just talking to one of my my clients and we were talking about, because she loves fashion too. And she was like, when you attend a fashion, are you more into getting content or do you really sit there and absorb the fashions that's coming down the runway and kind of just enjoy the show? And I can say, honestly, I'm the girl who's recording everything. And I had to kind of take a step back and say, okay, the next fashion show that I attend, I might get a little bit of content, but I really want to enjoy the pieces, look at the detailing, and just enjoying the moment.
So I have a question for you. When you're going to these type of events, what do you hope to gain? So meaning, is it community? Is it connection? Is it networking? Is it a way to get a discount? Whatever.
Right. We love a good discount.
We love a discount. But what are you trying to gain from these type of events? And just take Fashion Talk Tuesday out the scenario. When you're literally going, saying, hey, I want to sit in these rooms, what does that look like?
I love to meet people. It's so crazy because when you have a passion as far as fashion, you always in your own bubble and just think that you're the only person who loves fashion, but it's not true because there's so many people who loves fashion but from different perspectives. So I love the fact that I'm meeting different people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and just connecting and building the relationships. And I wrote down, you don't want to just leave an event with no connections. That might be a new client, that might be a new collaboration, different career opportunities. And you know what they say, closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to speak and get in those rooms and just, connect with different people.
So for me, when I'm walking in these rooms, it's about building community. Mm-hmm. First, I think of brands, and that's great. And I love the fashions. I love to look at them. And I know that, either I'm going to buy something or I'm not. Mm-hmm. We are, as consumers, we're going to buy something. We know we're going to buy something before we even get there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we know we're not just going just to see unless that's just our job. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm leaving with a sense of community. Like, I want to know the story behind the brand. I want to know why somebody's in the room. Like, do you truly love this brand? Have you been following them for years? Yeah. Have what has made you kind of fall in love with that brand? And then that's how you build community, because those conversations help us connect. Like, oh, I didn't know you loved this brand this much. I didn't know you knew this much about it. And then it becomes an educational perspective of how do I truly like build a community from there. So what do I take from here? Take it back home, kind of mull it over, and then say, hey, I'm going to continue this conversation with someone I just had, and maybe send an email, maybe send a text message, maybe send a message on social media to keep that conversation going.
Connected.
Yeah. So let's talk about some common mistakes that we see or that we've learned from over the years by attending fashion shows, fashion events, fashion networking. For me, I always think about, how do I maximize on this space? And I used to be very scared to talk to people because I didn't want to know, anything. I didn't want them to like think I was stuttering or, not being able to, hold a really good conversation. But I've gotten over that.
Yes.
That's something that I said, Monica, be you, walk into these rooms like you own it, command attention, and then move forward. Okay? So what are some of the mistakes that you've seen or had to learn when attending?
Me not talking to people. I'm just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm gonna be in the corner, okay, I'm enjoying, all right, bye. No, and it was so crazy because I first started going to networking events back in Vegas. And I remember this one event that I went to. It was set up in a way that you had to talk to everybody in the room. So they did a timer. It was like a speed dating thing. So they had everybody rotate to different tables so you can get an opportunity to talk to everybody. And I like events like that. And I can honestly say like Sync Seattle do events like that. And it kind of breaks you out of your shell. So you feel comfortable because some people don't have the confidence to just speak to somebody. So I think that not talking to people is one of the most common mistakes that we do when we attend fashion events.
Let me first say that the fashion community in any space can be intimidating. It can be. People can seem like they are superior or act like they're superior. They not. Or they can act like they don't see you or ignore you. And that's a big topic that has been discussed in the past. But we want to make sure that,
especially in the fashion industry.
No, you're fine.
A lot of these spaces, people do, like, I'm not going to say everybody, there's some sweet people, but a lot of people in this industry feel as though they're better than people. They look down on you if you don't have the designer pieces. It's just certain things that it can be intimidating when you're attending some of these shows. So knowing who you are is important.
Building opportunities from the space that you're already in. You are already in the room. So how do you maximize that? And a big part of that is making sure that you are not just getting in the room and then leaving immediately. A mistake that we have seen in the past, and that we've done too, because we may be busy, we have things to do, we are booked maybe twice in the same day, is to get in the space and then leave immediately. And now people are like, oh, I was looking for you. I wanted to say, hey, I want to kind of connect with you. So those spaces after the show is over, after the event is over, when people are not as, tightly wound, when they have kind of like let their shoulders down a little bit, and now they're able to talk, you get those.
Had a few cocktails.
You had a few cocktails. You get that, like natural conversation flow going. That's when you can laugh a little bit, and you can joke a little bit, and people are a little bit more receptive to what you got to hear, and not rushing just to say acknowledge your presence and keep it moving. So we discussed misconceptions and mistakes that are made when you go to these events, but let's talk about showing up as your brand versus yourself. So what that means is most time when people get there, they're like, oh, introducing themselves as a brand immediately. And that's all people get to know. They don't get to know who you are. They don't get to know you. They get to know your brand. So you're like, oh, I'm such and such with such and such. Oh, I'm such and such with such and such. And that's great because that's where the connections are made when it comes to collaborating and partnerships. How do people get to know you? And when you're in these spaces, what are you saying to show up as your best self versus your brand? And don't get me wrong, again, your brand is what brings you in the room sometimes, and that's what you're there to do, which is a job. But how do you show up as just yourself versus the brand?
And that's what I was going to ask you, because I feel as though, like, if you're attending like a business networking like situation, or I know we were talking about fashion, but if it's pertaining to your business, do you want to represent yourself as your brand, or do you want to speak and say, hi, my name is Maisha, I'm so and so, blah 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 blah? What do you like? How do you feel about that? Because I would think that I would want to talk about my brand, but do you think that we shouldn't do that?
I don't think you should completely negate your brand. Like, that's why you're in the room. A lot of times, we would be in the room as Fashion Talk Tuesday, but I think also when people are looking for brands and they are trying to find out, oh, I heard about Fashion Talk Tuesday, but who is Fashion Talk Tuesday? You know, how do we show up as Monica and Maisha independently? Like, we both have stories, and it's fun to like bounce that stories off each other. Oh, she's from LA, I'm from Georgia, we're East Coast, West Coast, and we just kind of like have this fun banter about, you know, style and things of that nature when it comes to that. And that kind of gives a more personal, in-depth look to who we are versus just saying, oh, we're Fashion Talk Tuesday, and that's it.
Okay, I love that.
So I think it's a brand moment, but also an opportunity to say, hey, oh, I know.
Are you outside of
exactly buying from a new brand? I'm like, who the owner? Who owns this brand? And before I buy from it, and that's where the you know, shopping smarter comes in as well. Who owns this brand? What are their morals? What are their values? And if we think about that right now in the world that we live in, we can't just be buying from anybody.
Right.
We can't just be.
Fast, child.
Exactly. So we have to like think a little bit more about who we're investing our time into. And just like you're dating, like when you're dating somebody, you're not just dating somebody for you could just be dating for 2 weeks, who knows? But when you're dating somebody, you want to get to know them. So you want to know what the person behind I call it your representative, because you never really meet the real person initially. You have to get past that layer. So it's just like for your brand too. You're getting past that layer. You're getting past the, you know, the hey, how you doing? I'm such and such, nice to meet you. This is what we do. And you give your elevator speech.
Yeah, your elevator speech. I love it.
And that elevator speech gets you in, you know, your foot in the door, and it's great. But how do we start talking about things that actually like light up? And I've had people tell us like, y'all really love fashion because y'all eyes light up when you talk about it. And that is what draws people in. Like, oh, I really love to hear y'all talk about these things because you're really passionate about it. So now they want to know more. What started you in fashion? What made you love fashion so much? And those are the questions that get the, get it going. And that's how you stay in touch and you connect and you build that rapport.
Opportunities often come through relationships, not just talent. So why is attending a fashion event an investment in your growth?
When we're thinking about fashion events, we are thinking about just a one and done event, and you're going to get the content, you're going to get a few snaps, some pictures with some friends, and you're moving on. But one event can turn into a collaboration, a partnership, a great conversation that leads to something that may be bigger than you.
Absolutely.
And your growth in that arena is getting comfortable there. So how do we get comfortable in speaking to who we are, speaking at these events, going the additional mile to say, hey, I actually want to have a separate conversation once this is one and done. And for me, I think it builds an opportunity to create a more robust relationship and network. Whenever we think about building friendships, and even in our case, we built it through talking about fashion, having the conversation about something that we both loved, and taking it from just online to outside of online. And I think we're in a space now in like a generation or a year, season, whatever you want to call it, summertime, to have those conversations in person a lot more. We see it all the time. People are like, oh, I want to communicate with you. I want to connect with y'all. I want to do this. And that's amazing. But we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those type of conversations. So I'll give a really good example. We met Natalia from La Paisa online as well, and she reached out to us to help host one of her first fashion shows that was a virtual fashion show. The most amazing opportunity that we had, first as a new brand, as a new, platform, for someone to see us and to say our name and want us to be a part of their baby, their vision, their goals was very, very overwhelming, and it was amazing. So for us, it became, how do we connect with her and have these conversations? How do we talk to her? How do we, build from there? And it just became a back and forth. And Nat was very, very, critical about being in person and speaking in person and talking and get to know each other. And that was a huge foundation for where we are now with La Paisa and just building and having a friendship. And it might not always become a friendship, don't get me wrong, but it leads and opens doors and opens new avenues for you to take advantage of, and also for you to help each other. One thing that I think about is do we always need to expect something in return? No. And that, I think a lot of people don't realize that nowadays, and we can talk about this all day long, but people don't realize that you don't necessarily always have to get something in return just because you support somebody. Absolutely. And if I come to your event, it doesn't 100% mean I want you got to come to my event because I came to yours. And I think that's where we lose the plot.
Absolutely.
we lose the plot there because people are always expecting something. And sometimes it's just about support.
Yes.
And paying that forward and paying the support forward and not looking for something in return. So I really truly believe that it's about the intentional moments that you have. And also don't expect something every single time, because if you expect something every single time, that means that's how you block your blessings.
You gain exposure and visibility too. You know, and that's why I love collaborations, because my audience may not know who you are and your audience may not know who I am. On this week episode, we talk about, are you showing up the right way? But what are some things that help you show up the right way?
Okay, I'm gonna do like a top 3 for me. I'm not a business card person. I don't like business cards. I'm not gonna lie to you. I might put them in a purse or put them on my desk, and I'm not sure I'm gonna look at them again. But we live in a world of technology. And my favorite things now are digital business cards and the NFC nails that are out now.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you've seen it, but they have nails that in the press-on nails or like a design, and you can add your NFC like business logo, and it connects to your Instagram, it connects to your website, it connects to your work, and all people need to do is just QR code your nail.
I need that.
Yeah, it's so fun. And I mean, being a girl is fun.
It is.
But you get to kind of like, I've seen it where people can just scan your nails, and once they scan your nails, they have your Instagram, they have your YouTube, whatever your case may be, and you got an easy way to connect with people.
Yes.
So that's my first one. Okay, love that. Also, I love curiosity. I show up with curiosity. I try not to be the person who know it all in the room, because I want to learn. I want to absorb. I want to know what I can leave the room knowing more of. So curiosity is very huge for me. Also, a willingness to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable in spaces such as a fashion event or networking event is very key, because people notice when you're just trying to be, conceited, or you're trying to actually like act like you know everything, or you're just the person that everybody should be around in the room. No, I want to be vulnerable so that you can understand that I'm here to learn, grow, and develop my skills and more of what I'm trying to do. And also, I want to learn more about how to support the brand itself.
Look, she is going deep, baby, but I'm gonna be a little bit more tangible, like just little things, but comfortable shoes. For sure. If I'm going to be, I done made a mistake of wearing some shoes that was not comfortable. My feet was swollen at the end of the day, and I could not walk anymore. And you do not want to be that girl walking without her shoes, but that day I had to. So comfortable shoes for number 1. Number 2, some water, because you may not know if an event might have something, and I might get a little parched. You never know. 3, I would have to say confidence, for sure. I think you said that, but I have to say that again as well, because confidence is key. Like Monica say, walking into a room like you own it is major.
So this is something that we can leave you with. As we have went through our own growth, and we're still growing as a platform. We're still growing as people who are learning how to be in this space and show up differently. You'll see us kind of skip over words. You'll see us, kind of like say, oh my God, let me stop. We have bloopers to come from these events. But I think for us, it's been about collaboration and understanding that when we walk into these spaces, we are trying to meet people, get to know people, and understand their story, because it ties it back into being a community. The fashion community here in the PNW is one that is growing together. People are learning how to collaborate, partner, understand each other, and not just say, hey, I want you to support me. I truly want to support you too. And that's not the case everywhere. That's not the case every time. But for us, that's a big part of what we do with Fashion Talk Tuesday. We support others, and not necessarily wanting anything in return, but we want to make sure we highlight the amazing talent that's here. And we built that over time. And it's not easy.
And I think that's what we need here in the PNW, because there's so many talented people, but there's no outside voice to kind of shout it out to the world. So that's why I love what we do, because we're able to shout it out and, make people think like, oh my God, I didn't know this was here in the PNW. So yeah, I love that.
Yes. So whenever you see us, whenever you see us come across your screen, it's an opportunity to know that we're doing something that's going to highlight amazing people. It's going to highlight topics that sometimes get kind of shunned or put up under the rug, but we're growing as a platform to, take these topics and make them more tangible, and make them more, I would say, digestible. So that's what we're here for. And as we continue to grow, please stay tuned for more. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.